Hey guys, midweek energy check-in here in our epic month of April astrology, April 2024. We of course are in the midst of this big Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, which has been such a long anticipated cosmic event, and here it is, okay? This week, midweek, this week of course is probably going to be a week where things are not going according to their normal pattern, normal routine. Things could be a bit all over the place, shocks and surprises, expect the unexpected, all the traditional Uranus language. But you know, it's real interesting because these two planets, Jupiter and Uranus, that we're talking all about right now because of their conjunction, they're aligning in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus actually happens to be on Wednesday in an exact conjunction to the north node of the moon, which is the destiny point. I'm telling you, you guys, whatever changes are underway right now, there is a very fated, divinely oriented nature to them, and they're going to be for the best somehow. Blessings and blessings in disguise are coming through the changes that are happening, and there's also going to be something of extreme value that we are able to extract from whatever's playing out right now, even if it's not so overt or apparent on the surface. So we got a lot of energy to talk about today, you guys. Relationships, finances, partnerships, connections, all of that and more, up for some serious change going on. Let's get into our report of the day. Let's talk about how all of our energy is coming together midweek this week as we move towards the 20th, which is actually going to be the exact to the minute alignment between Jupiter and Uranus in the sky. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. If you guys stick with me till the end of the video, I have done a collective tarot reading for us as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy reports, just to get an alternative energetic viewpoint of what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. We're going to do that at the end. We're going to start with the astrology. We're going to talk about Wednesday and Thursday, the energy coming through this week. Of course, as I said, you know, we are midweek in this epic astrology week of Jupiter and Uranus coming into an alignment. This is a rare activation, only really happens, you know, or only can happen once every 12 years or so, as that's how long it takes for Jupiter to transit around the whole zodiac. So it's a pretty big deal. It's also being emphasized right now by Pluto's placement in the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. And we've also got on Wednesday the moon in Leo going to be squaring these two planets while they're in their exact conjunction. This will definitely be setting off this transit. So we're going to be having, you know, we're probably going to be feeling the alignment between these two planetary energies in quite a powerful way as we go through Wednesday. And what is extra like significant and special about it to me is the fact that the ruler, you know, as I mentioned in my intro, the ruler of these two planets, who happens to be Venus, is in an exact conjunction to the north node of the moon, and also an exact opposition therefore to the south node of the moon, which if the north node is in Aries right now, and that's where Venus is in the conjunction to the north node, then that means that the south node, always in a polar opposition to the north node, is in the sign of what? Is in the sign of Libra. Aries and Libra are polarities. They are opposing on their energetic axis. Libra is ruled by what planet, you guys? Libra is also ruled by the sign of, or ruled by the planet Venus. She rules Taurus and she rules Libra. So right now in Venus's signs of both Taurus and Libra, we've got some pretty significant indications that there is, you know, on one hand, some sudden, maybe unexpected dynamic change in movement going on, and on the other hand there is a release, an ending, the like finality of something, moving away from something once and for all, like breaking a karmic cycle. So you know, Venus is obviously playing a big role in what is happening right now. And I've been saying, you know, people that have a lot of Venetian energy strong in their own natal chart may actually be experiencing a lot of these changes in, you know, some of the most significant ways. But everything that Venus rules, relationships, specifically partnerships and financial things, our preferences and our desires, what we're attracted to, our level of, you know, personal personal magnetism in terms of our image that we present to the world and what we gravitate towards and what therefore gravitates towards us. We are going through a process right now, and we have been as of really last summer, when the nodes changed signs and entered Aries and Libra, where we are shedding our old skin in some big ways. We are detaching from like a past version of ourselves, coming down to our most basic ways of relating to ourselves and relating to the world around us. And again, like our preferences and our desires and our values and our value systems and what we want, you know, and what we find valuable and what we find worthy of our time and our energy and what we want to relate with and what we want to associate with and what we want our world to look like. Also, even in terms of like the arts and like music, the type of things that we find beautiful and comforting and pleasurable generally. This is what is definitely on the table for some type of rearranging, shifting, changing, when both of Venus's signs, okay, are lit up right now in the current dynamic of energy. And this is like the big kicker for me, right? The North Node, we talk about the North Node and the South Node. I probably should have said when I started talking about them. The North Node is known as the destiny point. The South Node is, you know, has a lot to do with karma and karmic cycles and karmic attachments and karmic release. With the North Node transiting through the sign of Aries, this is, I mean, it's Rahu and Ketu, and, you know, Vedic or more ancient astrology, it was known as the head and the tail of the dragon. It's like it's like this, ravenous like hunger for something, like what we are sort of like uncontrollably being drawn towards, the head of the dragon, the North Node, like the experience that we need to go through next on the soul level. And as a result, we like can't help ourselves in our compulsion to like move towards it and to like experience this new thing. That's a lot of times what is emphasized when we have North Node energy going on. It can be a bit out of control, and it can have us feeling sometimes, you know, just the need to go in a certain direction. And it's also associated, therefore, with the destiny point, with the next phase of, you know, growth and evolution. And as a result, or I mean, on the flip side of that, rather, we have the South Node, which is the tail of the dragon, which is what we're dropping off, which is what we've processed and assimilated, but we don't necessarily need anymore. And like, if we stay in that energy, we can't go through the fated, destined process of growth and evolution that is referred to by the placement of the North Node. So karma and destiny, you know, the South Node karma, the North Node destiny, what we are detaching from so that we can become something more. And of course, these are polarities and they're oppositions. And so therefore, you know, South Node in Libra right now, we are dropping off the old way that we related to ourselves and the world around us, essentially, so that we can, North Node in Aries, step forward, grow into this redefined version of self. Aries is a sign of this self. Libra is a sign of others. So it's like we are, you know, going through a phase of fated relationship changes is how this is going to break down in a lot of ways. We're going to realize that a lot of people are going to be realizing that they have outgrown or no longer resonate with the relationship dynamics in their lives. Like, that's just what this is boiling down to. But anyways, you know, what I was trying to say and what all these words have brought me back around to is that we have, with Venus ruling the position of Jupiter and Uranus, who are indicating some type of major shakeup, major change. Venus with the North Node exactly, like not kind of close, like not a couple degrees out, like we're talking about exactly at the position of the North Node while we have these two planets together. So that is telling us, because Venus is ruling Taurus, this is telling us that the fated change, or the changes that are happening now, the dynamic change situation, the big surprises that are playing out with Jupiter and Uranus together, are definitely part of some type of like fated, destined process that is restoring our relationship to our true self on some level, with helping us to re-identify ourselves in a way that is going to lead to like an improvement for us somehow, that is going to lead to positive or productive growth. Another thing, you know, when we've got the synastry playing out between Jupiter and Uranus, both of these planets, like neither of these are particularly you know, bad, I guess we could say, planetary energies. Like Uranus is the lightning striking the tower energy. Like it can bring chaos, it can bring confusion, it can, you know, put us in a position where the rug is sort of pulled out from under our feet and like we've got to figure it out. Like it can definitely, you know, put us in a situation where we have to like face fears or like overcome things or like adapt to situations or, you know, really pull something out of the depths of ourselves. But in the end, it always happens to be, and we always end up coming back around to realize that like that was for the best. Like it was not comfortable, it was, you know, maybe a relatively like awful experience to go through, but like because of what it did and the position it put me in and who I became as a result of that and like the way that things sort of fell into place afterwards, I wouldn't change it. It brings blessings in disguise. Uranus is the galactic fixer. Uranus makes the changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves. And the point of that is the other aspect of what Uranus does. Uranus is all about facilitating the highest future potential to come to pass, like helping things to align in such a way that the cosmic blueprint unfolds properly. And, you know, the process of universal expansion that is always underway is going according to the divine plan of things. And so when things have gotten out of alignment, when we have gotten off course in terms of the, you know, evolutionary path of our soul in this lifetime and the, you know, the path to the achievement or the fulfillment of our higher potential that Uranus is associated with, that is when a lot of times we experience the upheavals and the major changes that put us back on that path. And then in retrospect, we realize like, oh, okay, that was a good thing. And of course, with Jupiter there, this is expanding that even more. But Jupiter is the great benefic. Jupiter brings blessings and, you know, good luck, good fortune, like positive growth, positive expansion, wisdom, truth. Okay. So, you know, this is also the Great Awakening. It's been a buzzword, you know, in the more spiritual communities for the past several years now. And Uranus is the planet that rules awakening, that rules flashes of insight, that it's like this electrically charged energy that stimulates us on a level where we have a tendency of gaining a greater awareness of something. Jupiter is expanding that. And Jupiter is also, you know, truth and wisdom and integrity. And I just think this is going to actually bring a lot of quite positive changes that are happening in a very fated and destined way. Now, of course, with it being Venus there, with it being Taurus, these are valuable fated connections, partnerships, relationships, opportunities, maybe business opportunities, maybe that come suddenly out of nowhere, unexpectedly, might just like hit us out of the blue. I was talking about this in my video, my last video out, and that is, you know, something that is probably going to be quite a common experience all week. Now, specifically in terms of the energy of Wednesday, we do have this Leo moon going on as well, Venus conjuncting the North Node in Aries. We've got Mercury also right now retrograde in a conjunction to Chiron. That's also pretty significant, but I feel like there's probably a lot of vibrancy around the day on Wednesday, very fiery day with the moon and Leo actually forming a trine to Venus and the North Node in the sign of Aries. And, you know, I keep going back to Venus and the North Node because even though we're talking about, and the big significant event right now is the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, it's in Taurus, and Venus's placement is important. Whenever there's an alignment or a conjunction or a stellium or an activation happening in a certain sign, it's important to know where the ruler of that sign is and what the ruler of that sign is doing, because it tells us a lot about the way that that particular aspect is functioning. So like we know without a doubt, like it is clear as day, like it is in black and white writing on the wall, the way that this chart is presenting. The changes that are going on in the sign of Taurus right now, as and related to the Taurus archetypal energies, themes, all of that, as a result of this big conjunction, 100% meant to be. So we can rest assured on that, which actually should give us some peace of mind moving through the energy that's going to come through the weekend. And there could be, and we'll talk about this more as we get through the report, but there could be a lot of like fears that we're coming up against, you know, fears, especially maybe resulting from the changes that we know we're going to have to make to our lifestyle or to our habits and routines, maybe, or just the normal way that things have gone. There could be some major shifts or changes coming up, and we could feel like a lot of people might be like really struggling with some fears or being triggered by fears into action, perhaps surrounding, you know, or in regards to whatever these big changes might be. And it could also be very financial. It could also have to do with health issues. But if we keep in mind, these things are happening for a reason. Both of these planets bring blessings. Jupiter, brings blessings. That's what Jupiter is known for. And Uranus brings the blessings in disguise after we make the necessary changes. And Chiron and Mercury are together while Mercury's retrograde. Like, this is, while we really may be dealing with navigating some fears, acting our faith with Mars and Pisces in this energy instead of being triggered into action by our fears is going to be the better way to deal with it. We need to keep in mind, again, like the concepts of both Jupiter and Uranus. It could be bringing, in the sign of Taurus, this is also the status quo, the comfort zone, the foundation under our feet, right? Like the ground we're standing on. There could be literal earthquakes going on. There could be, just the comfort zone, or, what we've been used to, or what has given us security for a long period of time could suddenly seem like it's, a little bit shaky somehow. But blessings all the way around. The changes right now are fated, they are destined, they are necessary, and ultimately also with Venus ruling these two planets in Aries with the North Node, like it is bringing us back to life on some level. And that is also being indicated today by the moon in Leo, the sign of the sun, the life force energy in the trine to Venus at the North Node, also in a square to Jupiter and Uranus in their conjunction. We could start feeling more alive somehow. This is a very charged atmosphere. You may really be able to pick up on a sense of electricity in the air, and it could have us feeling honestly like hyper stimulated on some level, but reinvigorated. This energy is trying to bring us back to life. Like, it's trying to wake up our heart and help us rediscover our own, the value of our true self, really, and all that we're capable of. We need to rediscover our courage and our strength and our personal power and our it's Venus also in the sign of Mars. Venus doesn't necessarily love being in Aries, but when Venus and Mars are together, when these two energies are together, this is always also a potent creative force. It's really about restoring a sense of individuality, restoring a sense of like authentic personal identity, personal mission, and firing us up to like not be afraid to kind of like charge forward and to start something new and to redefine ourselves in the context of the new value that we're recognizing within. Like, at the end of the day, this is all about personal self-empowerment, redefining ourselves and going through kind of like our own personal leadership era, healing old wounds. It's about breaking karmic cycles as well. And that's what that eclipse was about as well, where we have been attached maybe as a result of the relationships that we've been enmeshed with, or the communities or the networks, or the just the familial ties and stuff like that from the past. There's a sense of needing to shed our old identity and re-embody an authentic personal truth that is acting as a catalyst to put us on this track to self-actualization, finding our purpose, stepping into and working to arrive at and ascend into our true potential. This is about all the Chiron keywords, alchemy, right? Transcending states of victimhood and becoming masterful over our own experience, and ultimately learning to be our own author, write our own story, co-create our reality as a result of our conscious will rather than our subconscious programming. And that's another thing that may be coming up. I said we're going to be facing some fears over the weekend. A lot of that is going to come down to those very themes, the conscious will, up against the subconscious programming. And what are we going to do? Are we going to let the subconscious and the shadows and the fears trigger us into action, or are we going to act our faith in the face of what appears to be some fears that may be coming up in the nature and in the context and the circumstances that are featuring all this big change that's also being spoken about right now? So you know, moving through Wednesday, we could be feeling something stirring inside. It could be all about passion, creativity, love, romance, matters of the heart generally. Surprising new connections coming in, you guys, things falling out for sure, but also super faded dust and connections. Now, these may not be long-term commitment type of things, but it's more like the right person, the right place at the right time to like facilitate the like proper realigning of something, or it's like getting an opportunity that puts you where you need to be. It's like the people that are coming in, like they might not be there forever, but they're real significant in the moment in terms of like getting us on the track, getting us on the path that is going to bring in maybe the more committed energy moving forward. Could be big surprises, of course, shock factor situations going on all week, unexpected meetings, connections, opportunities, and conversations. Mercury is also coming back into the Mercury retrograde with Chiron is in a close proximity to Venus in the North Node as well. So, you know, this whole like connection, conversation, things meant to be, this could be very, very healing, like soul healing, that help us kind of like change our whole perspective on things, connections coming in as well. I don't know that there's honestly that I've seen in this past couple of years an energy that is more primed for faded changes in relationships, you know, partnerships, and also the other Taurus themes, right? Projects, resources, assets, and things to do with value, worth, finance, money generally. But they're going to be positive. Uranus, they're going to be liberating necessary changes that are healing, have been a long time coming, and awaken us to something on some level that has the impact ultimately of, you know, what this is all doing, bringing us back to life and waking us up on like that heart-based level so that we can really create something that is true and genuine and, you know, really fulfilling for us moving forward. Not probably going to be easy what we're going through right now, but again, the value that is represented here, Venus at the North Node and Jupiter, Uranus in the sign of Taurus. This is a huge value. Like whatever we're awakening to, whatever's going on right now, there's a profound level of value that we're going to get for it. It's worth it, okay? That's something that we can say for sure, despite the level of uncertainty and discomfort that it could be bringing with us. This could also represent sudden windfalls, you know, like a stroke of luck coming out of nowhere, things suddenly shifting and turning in our favor, unexpected opportunities, like a sudden shocking growth spurt somehow, overnight success, or like a huge wake-up call could be coming through in this as well. But we're gaining an awareness of the true nature of things. I feel like also another thing that I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes more of like a public thing, like a public narrative over this next couple of weeks is, you know, Taurus rules food and everything to do with, you know, agriculture and the food supply and what we're eating and all that. And with Uranus and Jupiter there, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of like big collective awakening to like the true nature of the food supply, what's really in the food, like big agriculture, and maybe like some issues coming up as a result of awakenings that go on along those, or in those realms that could have some type of big impact perhaps on the food supply generally. Also the financial system, you know, what is valuable and what is not, like gaining some type of true awareness where maybe before, you know, we weren't seeing things exactly clearly, we were looking through a distorted perception somehow, but gaining like a true honest understanding of the nature of, you know, value or monetary things somehow, or currency things to do with economies, resources, assets, those Taurian type things as well. So we could see like revolutions in the context of, you know, financial bodies or economic things, or against, again, like big food or big agriculture, land, resources, stuff along those lines as well. But revolution and rebellion supersized very much in the energy right now. People are not going to be super compliant. That is something that we could also say. Taurus is also, it's a very fixed sign. This is going to break up stagnation. If you feel like you've been in a rut, if you feel like you've been making no progress, if you feel like things have just sort of like been the same and been very fixed, or you've been stuck somehow, This is energy that is going to come through and that is really going to create wherever there's been stagnation, wherever there's been like fixed, stuck energy, like nothing really happened. It's going to create motion. It's going to create movement and make things happen, make things shift, make things change. Even if it felt like things were never going to change, this is spontaneous change coming out of nowhere in especially things that have been fixed, stuck, and movable. And Wednesday, you know, with the moon in the fixed sign of Leo as well, forming that fixed square. Squares create conflict that, you know, require a breakthrough. Breakthrough energy could really be going on somehow on Wednesday. Majorly fated changes though all week in love and money. That is probably going to be a wild ride. Thursday, we have the sun at the last degree of Aries. Thursday, the sun will be at 29 Aries, so about to enter Taurus tomorrow and join Uranus and Jupiter there just in time for them to come to their exact cazimi alignment on the 20th. This is going to be, I feel like, obviously enhancing the energy of this activation right now. And we're also going to be having Mars, as I mentioned earlier, move into a more direct opposition with the Black Moon come Thursday. And again, Black Moon and Mars. The Black Moon is our shadow side issues, our subconscious programming, like our deep fears that we don't necessarily like know are there, but are actually responsible for a lot of the ways that we act and react when we get triggered or we get set off somehow. And then of course, you know, Mars, this is our energy. Mars in the sign of Pisces, the Black Moon in the sign of Virgo. With the Black Moon in Virgo, first of all, this entire 9-month transit of the Black Moon through Virgo can bring up fears of failure, especially for those people who have strong Virgo Pisces energy. Black Moon works in polarities, so when it's in a sign, the other sign is typically feeling it too. So, you know, sun, moon, you know, maybe Chiron, stelliums of planets in Virgo and Pisces, you guys have been the most activated by the Virgo Black Moon transit, and you know, I would expect the same with Mars coming into the opposition. But fear of failure, because Virgo is a sign ultimately about the harvest. It's about being able to take something and bring it to its, you know, full fruition so that it can then be reaped in the form of a successful harvest or a successful bounty somehow. So boiled down to, you know, its most basic whatever, that the opposite of a successful outcome, being able to refine something to its, you know, best form to then be extracted and utilized. The opposite of that would be failure, right? It would be not being able to do that. So when we're dealing with the shadow side foundational issues of Black Moon energy, it can a lot of times bring up the fear of failure, like not being competent, not being able to complete something, not being able to be successful in our efforts somehow. And when we couple that with, you know, the financial and the health-based energy that can also be associated with the sign of Virgo, and we've got all this perhaps financial upheaval that is going on right now, remember, it's for the purpose of making things better somehow. These are the towers coming down so that anything that is essentially with Jupiter there, I'm telling you guys, anything that is not in alignment with authenticity, with integrity, with truth, with like doing the right thing, like that is what is gotta be, you know, taken down in this energy. So that's what I'm saying, you know, like it's ultimately going to be for the better, because what it's ultimately going to do is restore a sense of true value to things, true purpose to things. And a lot of things, you know, at this point in time have probably gotten quite out of balance. At least that is what the energy is indicating, which is why we've come to the point of needing this you know, this realignment and this renewal. But when all is said and done, it is going to have been worth it, because we are going to get back on track with what's real, with what's true, with what's authentic, so that we can build new solid foundations in a way that are going to lead to some type of elevated long-term fulfillment and success and prosperity with the Jupiter Taurus, you know, situation going on right now as well. So big changes going on, and the fears, okay? Also, the sign of Virgo has to do with our habits, with our routine, with our lifestyle, with what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. And Mars in the sign of Pisces, this makes me think also with the polarity of these two planets coming together, fears over how the changes that are happening now or what we're going through now might affect our day-to-day lives, our habits, our routines, our health, our lifestyle generally. Finances could also be very relevant to this. Like, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to manage? Like, even if it's a good opportunity coming through, maybe questioning, like, do I have the time? Like, do I have the, ability to like maneuver my schedule in a way that can take this on? So it could be bringing up, overwhelm and fear also of the way that these changes are perhaps going to affect what we've been comfortable with in terms of how our daily life has gone, our habits, our routines, are maybe whatever opportunity is coming or the changes that are coming right now totally requires us to completely change our schedule. And maybe it could be bringing up some fears of how we're going to manage that in the context perhaps of like, everything else that we have going on right now. So, and also the financial based stuff as well. I feel like these are probably going to be the most common ways that this energy manifests, having to face a fear in terms of how these changes could alter our life and our lifestyle generally, like what it means for us moving forward in terms of what our like day-to-day life could be like. And also Mars in the sign of Pisces, like, am I going to have the energy? Am I going to have the stamina? Do I have the work ethic? Can I commit? Like Mars in the sign of Pisces has a tendency of, being like having like reduced confidence or reduced levels of just like physical vigor and stuff like that, because the Pisces energy, it breaks things down, it erodes things, it diminishes things, it can break down our physical like energy levels when we have a Mars Pisces transit going on, because it's really like, it's like a more like yogi monk type of energy. Like it's really good for like Tai Chi and yoga and more just like activities and actions that are more, calming and more chill, more spiritually attuned and stuff like that. Like it's not like overtly aggressive, like very, very assertive and vigorous Martian energy. And it also can have a tendency to be more avoidant when it comes to conflict and stuff like that. So, we could be questioning like whether we have the will or the strength or the like gusto kind of to move forward in this. But regardless of Mars being in the sign of Pisces, honestly, with the fire energy that we have going on right now and the Aries alignment, the Aries North Node Venus there, like we do have it. Mercury is retrograde though, so that could also be, we do sort of, it could be holding us back a little, it could be having us question some things, but we may also be sort of coming up against what we need to let go of, what we need to surrender, what we might be losing through the process of whatever it is that we are moving into now, whatever changes are taking place now, whatever opportunities are coming to us now. So that could also be a way that this dynamic is sort of playing out. And again, also Virgo, and we also have Mercury retrograde and Chiron together, things to do with health, illness, finding cures, finding remedies, finding solutions. It's very interesting also to me the way that this Chiron energy is playing into all this. We had that new moon solar eclipse in a Chiron cazimi. This week, when we have Uranus and Jupiter coming together, we've got Mercury retrograde and Chiron together. Jupiter and Uranus together, this is going to bring like extreme inventiveness, sudden solutions, sudden epiphanies, like answers to questions that we haven't been able to figure out. This is like sudden insight that changes everything. And with the Chiron element being so strong right now, like there could be a lot of like health concerns and like things to do with like disease and illness and the physical body, like physical weakness and stuff like that, and just general like low health or health issues that have been, maybe an issue over this past period of time. But Jupiter and Uranus, this brings unexpected, sudden solutions. So, to the extent that there could be health concerns going on out there, there are also, perhaps some very unexpected remedies that, just come out of nowhere as we move through this time as well. And again, as I mentioned a bit earlier, with the Black Moon Mars opposition, the need to face fear, we need to like go into the shadow with this and not hide from it with the Mars Pisces energy. We want to act our faith. That is the highest octave, expression of Mars and Pisces, is literally like being a conduit for the divine and for, you know, our faith, like acting our faith, living our faith, making choices and decisions and actions that are guided by our higher selves, aligning with our higher selves, embodying our higher selves. Like that is the Mars Pisces energy taken to the highest octave, okay? Opposite the black moon is our triggers. These are our fears. This is going to play out two ways. People are either going to be like triggered into action as a result of these unconscious fears coming up that may have them doing, you know, taking, you know, doing all types of weird things. Or rather than acting from a place of fear, which could be happening, you know, like I said, this is probably going to be a strong tendency in this energy. We can, you know, acknowledge it. We can gain an awareness of it. We can feel it and be like, yeah, like I know this is going on within me right now. But Venus and the North Node together, Jupiter and Uranus and together, this is going to bring blessings. This is happening for a reason. And I'm going to choose Mars in the sign of Pisces to embody my higher self, to act my faith, and I'm not going to fall prey to the illusion, okay? Mars in the sign of Pisces as well, the illusion of the fear that is going on right now. Remember the position also of Jupiter and Uranus in their conjunction. They are coming together at the Sabian symbol, 22 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a white dove flying straight and fearlessly above troubled water. Mars and Saturn, both in the sign of Pisces. This can bring troubled water, turbulent emotions, fears, subconscious fears that are surfacing and really like hitting us on an emotional level that we're having to like maneuver and do like deal with, okay? But with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, the changes are actually elevating us, taking us out of maybe some of these troubles that we've been caught in. Like we are ascending out and over the grip, perhaps, of the negative cycles of the past. And we've got to do our best to look at the situations that are happening right now from a higher perspective, from an elevated perspective, aligned with our faith, keep the hope alive, right? And just trust things are happening for a reason. There are blessings all intertwined with this. We may not realize it till we get down the road, but it's Uranus. You know, we're being liberated from something that is going to put us back into a place of personal power somehow. And we just got to take, you know, heed in the knowledge that things are unfolding according to a higher plan right now. We may not fully understand it, but we will, and it's going to be for the best. Things are working in alignment with our highest good right now, and we need to keep that mental state and not allow the fear to control us as we move through the Mars Black Moon opposition. Thursday, you know, this energy, another reason why this Black Moon Mars energy could be kicking up is because the moon also enters the sign of Virgo on Thursday, which means that the moon is going to be coming into alignment with the black moon, activating the black moon as the opposition between Mars and the black moon comes exact, which is going to be happening right pretty much on the same day, I'm pretty sure, as the cazimi between Jupiter and Uranus. So a lot of fears perhaps being triggered emotionally, insecurity, instability, who knows what, but you know, fears of failure ultimately could be going on in the midst of whatever these big changes that are, you know, probably unexpected, hitting us out of nowhere. Financial matters, relationships, values, health, things to do with routine, lifestyle, the ability to generate, produce, right? But it's going to be all good in the end, so we're not going to get attached to those fears. Crazy alignments happening as we move through the weekend as well. Like I said, on Friday, the moon will be entering the sign of Taurus. So we're going to have the moon in Virgo with the black moon, and we're going to have the sun in Taurus with Jupiter and Uranus taking us through the weekend, and the cazimi on the 20th. So more crazy alignments, you guys, yet to come. If you think that you have seen enough already, hold on. We are just getting started. We have not seen it all yet. There's much more to come. So on that note, I'm going to be done with the astrology for today, and it should be interesting times this week. Let's talk about the tarot now for a minute, you guys. Got some interesting themes coming up in our tarot cards. Forgiveness, letting go, release, awakening, rebirth. Okay, we got the Judgment card coming out first. So, and then followed by the Five of Swords in reverse, the Queen of Wands, the Six of Cups, and the King of Cups. First of all, these three cards, the Judgment card, the Five of Swords in reverse, the Six of Cups, there's, you know, a release from past attachments that have kept us in a state of internal conflict, perhaps, or from, I mean, this is describing to me the energy of the South Node in Libra. This is some type of an awakening to what we need to let go of from the past, because it's either kept us in a state of conflict, contention, competition somehow. Like we're letting go of the chips on our shoulders, maybe, that came from situations from the past. The Queen of Wands and the King of Cups. This is coming into a greater creative mastery in and over ourselves, and also a sense of emotional self-control. This is us, you know, maturing, growing up, and coming into a state of greater self-empowerment over, you know, the fire energy, the creative impulse within us, and also the water energy, the way that we are navigating and dealing with our emotions. Like the whatever we're awakening to in this energy, the connections to the past that we're severing, whether they were just karmic cycles of conflict or toxic attachments, or, you know, jealousy or competition or something like that, that may have kept us in a state of just like not being fully, not having the inner peace, you know, that we need, or being in a place where we didn't have emotional self-control, or where we were kind of immature in the way that we were using our energy or our creative, you know, power and stuff like that. This is through the process of cutting ties with the past as a result of some type of forgiveness or awakening or rebirth that we're going through, finding ourselves coming to a place of personal self-empowerment, both in the way that we are using our energy and our creative force, and also the way that we are navigating our own emotions and the power that we're deriving from a state of, you know, being able to regulate our own emotions, or a state of emotional self-control. That is what we're receiving and what we're becoming as a result of, you know, these changes that are happening now. So, you know, and that is like, it's funny because we've got Venus and Aries, right? And we've got Mars and Pisces right now, the masculine and the feminine. And then we've got the card, the Queen of Wands, which is the feminine fire energy, which, you know, Venus and Aries. And we've got the King of Cups, which is the masculine water energy, which is Mars and Pisces. It's like the emotional self-mastery and the mastery of the self, like the creative impulse and how we're using our energy. Like this is the value that we're gaining through the ties that we're cutting from the past, and through our ability to shed our old skin and detach from our old identity that may have protected us, it may have been comfortable, it may have defined us and defined our lives up until this point in time. But with the Judgment card coming out first, like there's literally like a resurrection, like an awakening, like the wake up call. That's another thing, like hearing the trumpets, some type of wake up call, something snapping us out of it, something bringing us back to life. And that's exactly, again, how I started this report today, you know, with the fiery energy that is coming through, that is invigorating us, that is making us feel alive, that is charging us up, that is like the defibrillator, like shocking us back to life on like a heart-based level, literally. So that's what I have to say about this tarot reading. It seems to be a pretty good description of the way that the astrology is functioning out there. Let's get one more card now, you guys. Let's get a synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe, what can benefit us to keep in mind? What should our mantra be midweek this week? Very special week of energy. It really is. You know, I really do view this as a very special time that we're going through right now. Like, it might be, of course, you know, very disruptive in a lot of ways, but I'm telling you guys, like, the value that is coming through right now in terms of the future potential that it is going to initiate is unmatched, unrivaled. And unbelievably, you guys, we actually also look at what the card is that came out flying out of the deck for us today. I probably reiterated these words way more than I needed to in this report, but here's it one more time for you. It says a blessing in disguise. So this is probably the most Uranian. It is, even when I read it, even the message on the card is extremely Uranian. The most Uranian card, I would say, in all of the deck of all of the synchronicity cards, which there sure are a lot of them. And this is the one that we get today. So all things in divine alignment, right? They're called the synchronicity cards for a reason. A blessing in disguise. And the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, 1 Samuel 12:18. Thunder and lightning can be frightening and give us a scare, but it is followed by a blessed rain. You are divinely guided and blessings follow. That is, you guys, the whole name of the game. That is literally like what the energy is yelling from the rooftops today. So there we have it again. The cherry on top. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed the reading. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would also appreciate and enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. I'm so grateful for your presence here. I really appreciate you guys, and I really truly value knowing what's going on with you and your experiences out there. If you are having experiences, situations that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. If you are interested in what I've written here on this whiteboard, you can find that whiteboard, a picture of it that is, in my Facebook group that I have, which is linked in my description box below. And Janice Shellman also posts the synchronicity cards over there. She created the synchronicity cards, and I'm grateful to her for that. If you want a closer look at those, that's where you'll find them. Also, prayers for Jana. She has had some health issues lately, and asking for some super prayers for a super recovery for our awesome synchronicity Jana. So that's what I have to say, guys. I will be back on Friday. More of this Uranian energy being bolstered by the sun entering the sign of Taurus. We've got the Cazimi this weekend. We've got the Mars Black Moon opposition, which the moon's going to be there as well. So lots more astrology to talk about. Lots more coming at us, you guys. I will be here on Friday to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time, everyone. Have a beautiful, lovely Wednesday. And until next time, bye, guys.